Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 48. Gotta read fast, it's long. About 10 years ago, I had moved back in with my parents before leaving for the military. My parents own their own automotive business, and the shop is located on the same property as their house. One night, my sister, who lived there at the time too, and myself, decided to take the dog, a little Chihuahua mix, for a walk around the property as we do regularly. We were walking towards the shop and about to round the corner of the building to make the full loop. The shop is paved all the way around, and there are always cars, boats, etc. parked waiting to be fixed. As we rounded the corner, the dog started freaking out and barking and like pulling us in the opposite direction. He did not want to go that way. Always listen to your dog. This was weird because this was our normal night walk routine with the dog, and he had never acted this way before. I picked up the dog thinking that maybe there was a coyote that he was sensing, since about 15 yards to our left there were woods. The entire building is surrounded by floodlights, and we couldn't sense anything of danger. Only thing on the side of the building was an older Cadillac, like the long square boat ones, so we kept walking, dog in arms. As soon as we got close to the car, the dog started freaking out again and barking. Next thing we knew, we heard a loud knock that sounded like it was coming from the car. We looked at each other to confirm that we both heard it, and then it happened again, but twice in succession. All the while, the dog is going crazy. I get this weird feeling, and my sister actually starts crying. She was 18 and I was 24 at the time. The dog was still going nuts, so we decided to take the dog inside and go back to check the car again. No, why, don't go back, don't go back. When we went back out there, we continued to hear knocking clear as day, and it sounded like it was coming from the trunk. My sister is hysterical at this point, obviously, thinking there's someone trapped in the trunk, gagged and bound, so all they can do is knock. I was in disbelief at what I was hearing, but I didn't think anyone would be in the trunk of an empty car that someone dropped off to get service. We went back inside to ask my stepdad if he had the keys to the car so that we could check it out to ease our wandering mind. This is Massachusetts, close to Boston, and the mob is a real thing. What? I feel like I'm in a scary movie. Like, just don't go back to the car. He told us we were crazy and he didn't have a Cadillac parked there, but appeased us and gave us the keys to the shop to find the keys to the car to open the trunk and check. We went and looked everywhere in the shop and office, but there were no Cadillac keys anywhere. My sister has now called my other sister, and her and her husband show up. They live right down the street, and they too hear the knocking. We start asking it yes or no questions. Knock once for no and twice for yes. We asked, are you trapped in the trunk? 2 knocks, yes. Do you need help? 2 knocks, yes. Are you hurt? 1 knock, no. Are you a girl? 2 knocks, yes. Are you a boy? 1 knock, no. My brother-in-law wanted to see if they would answer yes to both. It was insane. My now even more hysterical sister wants to call the police. Yeah, I've done that already. My mom finally arrives home from her hospital shift. It is now 11:30 p.m. and we tell her everything that is going on and how we can't find the keys anywhere. She walked into the shop office and the keys were on the desk in plain sight, and I know we looked everywhere. Even my older sister and her husband looked when they arrived. She went to the car and opened the trunk, and of course nothing was in there. I don't know if we were hoping someone was in there or not, but we were a little relieved but still confused. Who or what was knocking and responding to us? The next day my stepdad came to me and said, hey, you know how you couldn't find the keys to that Cadillac last night? It's because the owner just dropped them off this morning. Mind you, he was sleeping by the time my mom came home and opened the trunk, and no one saw him before he left for the shop next morning to tell him what happened. My mom said she hung the keys back in the office key box, but they were not there the next day, as my stepdad said he was looking for them too to move the car. And that's the first place he would look other than the drop box. We've never discussed a night in the family. It almost feels like it never happened.